I'm Brian Fitzgerald from Springfield, Mass, and I've had MS since 1969. And in about 70, somebody clued me into smoking marijuana was better than the medicine I was taking, and it's true. And I've been taking that medicine illegally since then.
Hi, my name is Becky Nipple, and I just want to read a real quick statement that my nurse practitioner case manager for my neurology office wrote, because it really sums it up. To the National MS Center. I have been managing Rebecca Nichols' care for several years in conjunction with Alan Bernstein, MD. She was diagnosed with primary progressive MS in 1998. It was 97 by my primary care doctor, but 98 for my neurologist because he wanted to watch me for a year. She was then prescribed many prescription drugs for spasticity and pain. She was taking large doses of baclofen and was wheelchair-bound at this point. Shortly after this, she weaned off the meds and saw Dr. Hergenrather and was recommended to use cannabis for her spasms, decreased appetite, and pain. Since that time, I have seen a remarkable change in her health. She has less pain and spasm, is able to walk with a cane, and has regained her appetite. And I was wasting away, totally wasting away. She's gained back the weight back. She's gained the weight back, which she needed, and let's try this again. She's gained the weight back, which she needed too, and is on better health. My talking isn't any better right now, but this is my case manager who has been watching me for years. She saw me, how I was reacting to the baclofen and the Xanaflex, and I'll just go through them all. When I found out that I had been on 30 medications, prescription medications that were killing me, and my doctor told me straight out, I can't tell if it's the medications or the disease that's causing it. And that's when I decided, when he told me that he was going to put the baclofen pump in, I was going to lose all complete use between below my legs and my hips and below that. I said, no way. I started weaning off, and I'm down to one prescription medication and hormones now because I'm going through the change of life. And cannabis is my primary medication, and it really works.
Hello, my name is John Freakup. I'm from Mansfield, Ohio. I was diagnosed in 1986 with multiple sclerosis. I weighed about 200 pounds when I first got sick. I went into the hospital. My blood pressure had dropped to 50 over 30. I was laying there with the bedpans. I couldn't keep water down. I lost 15 pounds in that week that I was in the hospital. Got out of the hospital, and the nausea was still there. And Compazine, Antivert, nothing they were giving me was working. And I, honest to God, was in fear for my life. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't even stand the smell of food anymore. It would make me sick and heave, and I couldn't keep water down. And I was honestly scared for my life. And I heard that marijuana gives you an appetite. Everybody knows the Cheech and Chong thing, you know. And I went out and got some, and lo and behold, I took a couple puffs. And right away, my first reaction was, oh God, smoke, I don't know. And I felt better, and I was actually able to eat for the first time in about 2 weeks. I was able to actually keep food down. And since that day, I've used it almost daily to help give me an appetite. In 1986 or 96, there was a law in Ohio, where I'm from, that said if I was arrested for possession of marijuana, I could mention to a jury of my peers why I had it. It was for medical use. And I got a written recommendation here from my doctor, my neurologist at the time, for smoked cannabis. Unfortunately, that law got repealed right away in Ohio, and now that guy has retired, that neurologist has since retired, and I have a prescription for the drug Marinol. I'm sure that's not the first time you heard of that. $905 for a 20-day supply of Marinol. I pay the $125 Medicaid spend down in my state, and the state covers the rest of that. $750,000 a year alone on Marinol. It comes in a suppository, but that's not always convenient either, and keeping a pill down when you can't keep water down doesn't work for me. So cannabis has saved my life, and that's why I came all the way here from Ohio to tell you that and to plead with you. The United States is so far behind on medical research when it comes to cannabis. GW Pharmaceuticals in England is about a month away from introducing a spray that goes under the tongue for MS patients. That's their primary thing. I had just asked the MS Society, please help us. Please help us save lives and to end suffering, and ask for research to be done. Thank you very much.
My name is Paul Armentano. I'm not a patient. I do work for NORML. I've also in the past have done work for GW Pharmaceuticals, and I was involved in helping them develop some of the protocols for the MS trials that have been ongoing in England. So I think I have some understanding about this issue and about the research surrounding this issue. In 1999, in late 1998, there was a report released by the Parliament of the United Kingdom. It was a report that was done after a one-year inquiry looking into medical marijuana that was done by Parliament was very similar to the inquiry that was done in this country, known as the Institute of Medicine report that came out several months later. The finding of the United Kingdom's inquiry, when they looked at the existing research that was available regarding marijuana and MS, was this: we have seen enough evidence to convince us that a doctor might legitimately want to prescribe cannabis to relieve pain or the symptoms of multiple sclerosis, and that the criminal law ought not stand in the way. When I look at the website for the National MS Society, I see no mention of this report. I see no mention of this finding. I want to know what the MS Society knows when they reviewed the research that these experts in England didn't know when they reviewed the research. Keep in mind, this was a report that was done in 1998. Since that time, GW Pharmaceuticals has done phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 trials on patients with MS. These were patients who were not respondent to any other drug. That was a criteria for being in the study. They have found that with cannabis extracts taken under the tongue, that there were some patients who had been bedridden for years that were able to get out of bed, that were able to walk. There was a woman who was able to ride a horse, who had been she had been previously disabled for many years. They are now waiting regulatory approval from the government in England to market this as a pharmaceutical drug. Yet in this country, there is one sentence on the MS Society's website mentioning that trials are ongoing in England. There is no reference that there are 2 ongoing human clinical trials going on in this country, in the University of California, at San Diego, and at Davis. There is no mention of that. There is no mention that a study was reported in the journal Brain just a couple months ago, and its finding, which I found, even knowing much of this research, to be rather startling. Its findings said that, in addition to symptom management, cannabis may also slow the neurodegenerative processes that ultimately lead to chronic disability in multiple sclerosis and probably other diseases. What that statement means to me, and it's the first time I've read it in a published clinical trial, is that, hey, we already acknowledge that marijuana plays a role in symptom management of MS, relieving spasticity, relieving bladder dysfunction, but in fact, it may also play a role in actually staving progression of the disease. I want to know why that study isn't being mentioned on an MS's website. It was published in a peer-reviewed journal, yet there's no mention of it. We've included in this packet of information over 30 studies that talk about marijuana, MS, cannabinoids, and MS that have been published in peer-reviewed studies, peer-reviewed journals. 5 of those are from 2003 alone. All we're asking is that the MS Society take a real, legitimate look at the research, listen to its patients. There was a survey conducted in the UK by the MS Society in the UK that found 43% of those surveyed that had MS were using marijuana as a medicine.
I was diagnosed when I was 19, and it came on very hard. It was one attack right after another, and the last attack that I actually had, I was paralyzed for about 3 months. I had a bedpan, the whole thing, it was bad. And shortly after that, I was living in California. Proposition 215 passed. I was able to get books from the library and read up on different therapies, and every single book listed cannabis. And so I tried, and I haven't had an attack since then. I've been in remission for 7 years now. I haven't had another MS attack. It's been completely... I ate it. I found that eating it relieved. I mean, I just felt better. I just felt stronger. I felt like I could. With smoking it, I don't have muscle spasms anymore, and they were all the time. They'd come on. I don't have those anymore. And meeting other people that also have MS and can share the same stories with me, it's like, it's amazing. And I can't understand why it's not already legal and not already a medicine for a disease that doesn't have a cure. Why can't it also be listed as a treatment?
Thank you.
I'll try it.